Hello, welcome to this video where I'm going to introduce a brand new suite that we have added in BreakingPoint Quick Test called Security Suite. Now, if you are not familiar with BreakingPoint Quick Test, you can quickly watch this video on the link on top to understand what exactly BreakingPoint Quick Test is and come back to this video later, or you can just watch it as a standalone video as well. Now, in QuickTest, we already have support of several other suites like the encryption performance suite. We have support for the NetSec Open, support for performance suite, and you can go into details of any of these suites and understand more about it and learn more about it. Of course, you can also see the videos that we have for the suites. But this video is about the security suite. It's exactly similar in terms of working as the other suites. So if you go to the information, it will let you know how and what are the tests that we have added and what kind of gradings we are doing, what is the reasoning, what can be the possible recommendations and such. The mechanism to run this suite is exactly similar as the rest of the suites. You go to the environment, you ensure you have allocated the chassis that you have, the tested ports in the right way. You've configured the IP addresses in the right way. If you have the device in between, you ensure that the ingress and the egress of the devices are set up right, and you have created both the client and destination server ports accordingly. You can validate that the traffic is flowing through, and this particular IP addresses, it might change for your settings. Is same, and you are getting some traffic through it. You can also put things like SUT scripts, for example. These are the scripts that might go into the device and execute some commands like clearing the sessions or getting some more CPU results, and whatever you want, you can do that as well. If you want to know more, you can click on this link and learn more about the SUT scripts and how they work. In the security suite itself, if you click it, it will take you into the details of the security suite. So this would provide you certain information within the suite, like what kind of background traffic we ran. And that's a very important thing, because when you are trying to block or your device is trying to block certain attacks, and you've created policies for those attacks, you have to ensure that your background traffic, which is basically your legitimate users using accessing the applications, doesn't get impacted. It's very important to understand what kind of background traffic you'll be able to sustain, and if there is any degradations when the security attacks are getting blocked. And then we have variety of categories, from web client to server exploits, web server to client exploits. Some of this might be applicable to you, some of this would not. Critical exploits, and with changing variants to, we are trying to create some evasions along with critical exploits to ensure that a resilient security system is able to block any kinds of variants that a critical exploit might take. Email vulnerabilities, dangerous types of attachments, creating different types of evasion strategies, which are generally very difficult to configure if you don't understand what are the right attacks to that would be aligned with the right evasions. Here, our security experts have designed all these things: file server attacks, botnets, malwares, denial of services, database reconnaissance, and several other things. So without further ado, I will start a test that would start executing all these attacks and the background traffic along with it, and we'll see how it goes. Now, the quick test starts with the background traffic first, and that's very important because it's trying to see what kind of max throughput, max CPS, max concurrent connections, and if that your system can sustain during when there is no attacks. And this way, it will know that when they would start sending attacks, which would happen in the subsequent categories, if you are getting some kind of performance limitations, if while the device is looking into deep into certain kinds of attacks and trying to block them, whether your average performance gets down. And that's very important because you don't want your legitimate users to suffer. Once the background traffic has been sent and a baseline has been established, the quick test will start running through all the categories of tests. Now you can select or unselect some categories. Maybe some of those categories may not be relevant to you, and you can unselect them and run only a selected set of categories. What you would see interestingly here is that QuickTest continues to run the background traffic, and there is a lag after which it starts sending some attacks to ensure that none of the background traffic gets impacted while the security device starts getting busy in blocking different types of attacks. Now, it would start. It has started with web client to server exploits, but it will move through the list until it sends all the types of different types of attacks and creates some kind of gradation. So what I will do is, this is a running test. I already have a saved report. So I'll go through a saved report where I had run this entire suite through a particular DUT with all the security policies enabled, and quickly analyze what happened in that report. So this is this complete report. So QuickTest has run through all the tests, different categories of tests that were added as part of the security suite. You see the background traffic. Got a pretty decent performance in the background traffic, and we slowly move through and we see all those different types of categories and what kind of grading. And you, by that, you can adjust your security rating so that like you see, you are pretty good at this device. At least is pretty good at blocking dangerous attachments. But if we come to email vulnerabilities, we see it got a grade C, and you can look into as much details. You can see the recommendations that the quick test is providing. You can also see what kind of exploits you are being allowing, and we have a collection of high severity exploits. We're not running all the attacks because it will be too overwhelming. But it's the whole purpose is to give you certain ideas of where exactly in your security infrastructure there is certain improvements needed and where things are quite okay. And you would also be able to see what kind of attacks are getting allowed. If you want to get more details of those attacks, you can also do that. And you can see, what kind of attacks are blocked. You would also be able to see more complex kind of kill chains kind of things, like evasions, efficacy, where you would see what happens when there are multiple types of different evasions, which evasions are being more effective, which evasions are less effective. You can see both through a graphical representation and text-wise recommendations on which all attacks got allowed and what kind of actions you might need to block those attacks. So pretty comprehensive list of security suites that lets you run this test and be able to find out and create analysis based on what kind of test got run and what kind of attack got allowed and such. So a very comprehensive kind of testing that makes security testing much easier, because the entire suite has been designed by the experts, and all you need to do is read through the recommendations and follow through those recommendations so that your scores improve over time. And that's a very quick sneak peek of the security suite. If you want to learn more about the suite itself and what kind of methodologies and what kind of tests that has been added, you would be able to do that by going into the Breaking Point quick test, where we have all the suites and read through the information and find out different things about it. You would be able to also um, start customizing it or request for customizations to our to Keysight, and we'll be able to probably add suites that are more relevant to you into the quick test. Thanks a lot for listening.